Hey, it's TDA and welcome back to Dune Spice Wars. Last time we expanded into our second spice field. We have a lot of infrastructure set up, and right now I am trying to go into this zone, and we are going to try to take this special zone which has a huge buff to processing plants that will pretty much double the amount of production we get from that. Now we do have to be careful. The deep desert is no joke when it comes to draining your supply on your units, but we can kind of cut this corner over here and we will be fine. While I am doing that, we actually also have, let's make sure we have our ranged units in the back and our melee units in the front while we do this attack, because otherwise this is going to be a mess. While we were doing that, we also set up a lot of plascrete production because I was getting really low on that. And there's two reasons for that actually, because we can currently also start building huge districts in our main base that give you major bonuses to a lot of things. But they cost quite a bit. They cost 1500 Solari, so it's a huge investment, as well as 500 plascrete. So and especially the plascrete currently is a problem for us, and that is a problem we are going to solve in a moment. Now this battle over here is just fine. One thing to take into account if you're fighting on the sand like I'm here now, you need to watch for sandworms. If you don't watch for that, your troops can and will be eaten by sandworms like this. You can see this exclamation mark coming up. There's going to be a sandworm in this area. From on the stone, nothing can happen. But if you don't pay attention to that, you will lose your units and you're not going to be happy about that. Now, this specific area is going to be under attack, I think, from the Harkonnen. But it's, like I said, it's worth trying to seize and keep it. So let's make sure that we do. We probably also want to look into expanding our manpower production a little bit. But yeah, we definitely first want to make sure we get this spice field up and running. Alright, so we have some bookkeeping to do. We now have a spice collector facility starting to get up and running here. We are currently researching the spice market, which will allow us to put some additional crew into harvesting teams. We should probably build something that has something to do with manpower very quickly. And I also misunderstood this buff. So this buff actually seems to only apply locally, because if I apply a processing plant here, it will get me 40 Solari. Really worthwhile. And to be honest, having this zone in general is really worthwhile as well because of the buff to the hegemony. But that means it's a little less vital that we defend this as well as we can while we're here. So if we lose this, it's not the end of the world. It also has a wind strength of 6. So building a wind tunnel over here will be definitely useful as well. But for now, we need to make sure we pick what we're going to research next. To be honest, everything is really good. This one is really good because we can buff our production even further. It will also take us quite a long time to complete. So I'm actually inclined to go for this. This will have a huge impact on our supply drain and will allow us to keep more units in the field a little easier. Now we do need to make sure we get back into safety because otherwise our units will start dying, and that's definitely not something we want. As you can see, they're already starting to take damage, so we're going to have to keep them on the safe area again just to make sure they don't topple over. We still only have this one siege, which is now giving us 22 production, so that's really nice. And we're already up to a relation level of 45 with them, so all good so far, and not really any of a problem. Now we do have a huge buffer again of plascrete, so we are going to start up some production over here. I think we'll just start with the processing plant because why not? This will give us once again a lot of money, and that will again make it easier to do all the other stuff. Now we just got all the debuffs from the other parties. Yay, I suppose. It's a good thing we actually don't rely on selling spice too much thanks to all our processing facilities, because right now we don't really get a huge bang for our buck in terms of selling spice. That could actually mean we might want to increase our stockpile until we get a better deal. Not entirely sure that that is necessarily what we want to do. Especially not like this, because now we are actually in a little bit of trouble. But we might want to kind of over stockpile a little. That will make it easier to get to the next little hurdle, and it will also make sure that we don't sell our spice at a low rate too much. Now, in terms of what else do we want to do, I definitely want to start moving my units in this direction, probably around the deep desert though, and not straight through it. We can also use our agents to take care of this. Now, it looks like the Harkonnen are preparing to attack us over there.
We must go now.
I'm not entirely sure if they are. Just in case, let's assign some militia to this. I usually just pick one of each. Yeah, they are definitely going to attack us over here. So let's just move our units back and make sure we are in a good position to defend in a moment.
We will help if we can. We'll move fast.
So let's get these Harkonnen out of here, shall we? Because, well, we definitely do not want them around in our base, and we definitely want to make sure we keep this base, because, hey, our processing plant was about to be done. And now it isn't, and it's, like I said, you can really disrupt your enemies by simply attacking their villages. That's exactly what I have done, and I didn't have any defense in here just yet, so kind of my own fault in that regard. But yeah, we'll be fine, I think. Now we also completed this, that will give us some free plascrete, and that will now allow us in a moment to start building some major buildings in our main base. We also have 50 manpower now, so let's make sure we get some more crew going, and that means we have more spice and more money and more everything, basically. We could actually decide to counterattack this and try and take this over. It could be very interesting, actually. No, I changed my mind. I mean, it's going to be a very huge buff to our own production if we could take this, but to be honest, I don't think we're going to make that just in time. Now, we are going to have to build up some more manpower production, and I think we're going to do that right over here. And then another thing that we definitely want to do is buy another slot over here and set up spice silos in here. And why over here? Because it's just between the two areas where we're currently producing our spice, and that will be a 20% buff to our entire silo production. So that's really good. Yeah, we should probably still have this not be over selling, because we're not getting a great rate for that. So we might just want to lower it slightly even further if we can, without, well, to be honest, we're not getting into too much trouble with our solar production anyway. So let's just keep stocking this up. Sorry, I keep pausing this as a kind of a reflex whenever I think, hey, maybe we should make some other decisions somewhere. Now, what else do we do? Let's see, once we have this over here, what we could actually do is set up an investment office over here. Now, what this does is actually gives you 2 stacks of the village trade. And right now, this gives us 2 manpower production. So this will actually give us 4 manpower production at an upkeep of 4 Solari and 4 plascrete. While doing it through this gives us exactly the same, but at a higher Solari upkeep. So, yeah, let's go ahead and do that as well. How are our units doing? What we can actually do is we are, of course, we are the Fremen. We can use a thumper, and if that works like I'm hoping it will, we can put our units on the sand, use a thumper like this. Then we will summon a worm over here. We can have them exit over here. And this is really cool. Watch this. Watch this. They're like, whoop, no. A worm just ate all my units? Nope. They're actually just getting transported. And they're going to be transported right on the doorstep of this village, which has a very interesting buff, because it will actually give us a 100% plascrete factory buff. And not that we necessarily need that, but it also gives us a huge hegemony buff. So it's a win condition, so we might as well start working towards that. On top of that, if we can get to 5k, and this will get us a long way in that direction, we will actually be able to start generating those thumpers passively as well. Now, where to next? There was a little lag over there, I'm not entirely sure why. this could be an interesting buff. To be honest, everything is quite interesting to do. I am inclined to go for what? Everything actually takes quite a bit. I think we need to start investing a little bit into some offense. And, well, we first of all, of course, need to do this. That will also unlock the military base, which gives all your buffs, gives a huge buff to your units in that zone and all the zones next to it. So that's pretty much a mandatory building to have in case you want to attack. And ground command will give us a huge buff to actually the size of our army, as well as limit the upkeep you have in your army. So overall, basically, that's what you need if you want to field a larger army. Now we're also going to conquer this village, and let's see what is actually the next step we want to take after that. We will probably have a pretty good relationship with our friends over there in just a moment. Let's take this, and now let's see where to go next. I mean, our neighbors are quite annoying. We could also go in this direction, but taking this village is actually not going to be easy considering it has a huge defense. So I think the next target should definitely be this area because there's a spy zone in there and apparently no one took it so far. So it's going to be a hell to defend all of this. But yeah, I think we'll just have to deal with that. Actually, where are our ornithopters? Because for some reason we haven't actually... Oh, never mind. I was about to say we haven't actually explored this, but we do now. So should be fine in that regard. We are once again being attacked by the Harkonnen over here. So like I said, it's going to be hell to defend. But luckily we have some more thumpers that we can put to use in that direction. Did I mention we were going to get a very hard time defending all of this? I mean, we just drove out the Harkonnen over here, and now we have this these Fremen actually from this siege over here that we just discovered attacking us from the other side. Now we are going to be friends with them, and they're going to give us a huge buff to our Solari production. But until then, we are going to have to deal with all their raids and them being generally annoying. So yeah, there's that, and it's not going to be pretty. We are just going to counterattack them though, and we should be fine. Okay, so we have now reached 100% relation level with these guys, and that will actually give us a huge buff to our militia, so that should make it a little harder for the Harkonnen to actually attack us. And these guys should now also no longer be attacking us, so that's good. Something else that is happening is that we're getting a huge amount of manpower now, so I actually put in another crew member over here, so we're producing even more. And no, we are not supposed to go straight through that, guys. What are you doing? I know you're Fremen, but you can't just go right through the deep desert. That's really unfortunate. And we're actually having sandworms chasing us as well. So now we have to go and heal up a little bit before we go and defend this village. That's really annoying. Really, guys? Really, you're attacking me on the other side while I just completed defending this side? I mean, oh, well, we are definitely going to need those thumpers being generated passively because we are probably going to have to move back and forth here just a little bit more even than we are already doing. So that's going to be annoying, quite honestly. Luckily, these units will now start healing up. We didn't actually build any defense over here, so that was my mistake. And now they are trying to capture this. I think we should be able to get there just in time, but yeah, we definitely are pushing our luck over here with all of this offense and defense. Now, they didn't actually attack with a lot of units, so we don't necessarily need everything to be at full strength before we start defending, but it would have been ideal to have some militia there defending and buying us some time in the process. Now, speaking of that, we are definitely going to have to put some militia over here, so let's just do that straight away just so we don't forget. And then we're going to have to haul our asses back over here to make sure we keep this village. Well, apocalypse averted, I would say. We still have control of this village. We should definitely make sure we start placing down some defenses in here while we're at it. And we actually just reached another 60 manpower, so let's make sure we spend some on our crew while we're at it. And then we should definitely... Oh, we were already training militia over here, so all in all, we're good on that. We do now have access to the military base. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to set one of those up right here. And that's going to boost all of our defenses and offense in this general area while we're at it. So right now we have a huge amount of plascrete, we have a huge amount of Solari production, and actually this is pretty fine as well. What now? Oh, they're actually suggesting to attack us again? Well, let's just talk them straight out of that. Now, this is going to be a theme, I think, for the next little while, back and forth of attacking these Harkonnen. They actually use these probe units as well, which are really easy to take down, so prioritizing those can be really helpful in terms of defending. We do need to make sure we are optimizing the offense as well here. I think they figured out that they're not going to win this and they're now retreating. But we're definitely not letting them get away that easy. So we're going to chase them a little bit and hopefully be able to take out this unit over here while we're at it. Now we are now fighting in range of their missile battery. Shouldn't be too big of an issue. As soon as we can take out this unit, that will definitely be worth it. Oh boy, oh boy. Get back to safety, get back to safety. Run, run from the worm. We're going to make that? I think we are. Okay, so all good, all good, all good. So, let's see. We definitely need some more water. So I think we have this area over here with 6 wind strengths. Yep, we do. So let's make sure we put down some water production over here. Now you can see the buffs actually. So this area has a plus 25% spice production already. In case you're wondering, hey, which areas am I reaching? What else? What else do I want to do? Let's see. We do have some more room over here. And this is a very central unit. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to build a maintenance center over here, which actually reduces the Solarian plascrete upkeep of all the buildings in this area. And we have quite a lot set up here now, so that will definitely be worth it as well. We're also going to wait for our research a little bit, and then we can make sure we have a larger army, and then we might look into attacking this specific area from the Harkonnen. While we're waiting for that, we have so much spare plascrete and Solari production, and I'm actually going to set up some research hubs. These things are relatively expensive. I think we might actually want to see if we can set up one more over here as well. But they will give us extra knowledge, and there's other things like influence and intel that we are not really making too much use of. But research is always very good. And remember, we also get the buff from this central unit as well, because we had set down one of those temples. So 10% more production applies there as well. We have an unassigned agent as well. Where do we want to send you? So you have a plascrete global production buff of 1% per infiltration level. That's actually quite interesting. We should probably send you over here to kind of hedge some influence and intel production as well. So that's really good. We could also set up a few of these missions over here. Most of these aren't that interesting, honestly, just yet. This is really interesting when you're attacking a main base, by the way. Or starting a rebellion could be interesting as well. But in that case, we actually need more spacing guild infiltration. So let's actually invest a little bit in that as well. You can also do this, and this is a huge epic type of thing, where you need a huge amount of, well, pretty much everything. But you also need a lot of infiltration. So this is really focusing on spying, and then you could actually try and just take out an enemy altogether by being the best at that. We're very close to 5k hegemony, and then we'll get those thumpers going. So that's definitely going to be something we want to aim for as well. So we unlocked the research now that actually allows us to expand our military. So let's make sure we do that. Now we can't just yet use the Vatican, and they are really nice units. In order to do that, we are going to have to research this. So that will actually take a little while. Meanwhile, let's just focus on getting some more warriors and skirmishers. And that should allow us to field quite a little bit of an army and hopefully take care of some Harkonnen bandits. Let's just call them bandits. I mean, they're attacking us. We investigated this. That'll actually buff our research quite a bit. Now, it's worth making sure that you go around and keep investigating these little points of interest. They give you significant buffs, so you definitely need to make sure you keep doing that. We have the Atreides over here and the smugglers over here, actually. So what I probably want to do before I attack the Harkonnen is actually focus on getting this spice field before anyone else takes it. Because taking it back will be a lot more hard than actually just trying to attack it. They know my army is in here, so they're actually trying to kind of annoy me by doing that. Now it would be very nice if we can get this to 5k so we can get those thumpers, because if they attack us here we are going to have a problem defending. But one thing at a time. We can't make it go any faster than it already is. So okay, so great. We now have 5,000 hegemonies, which means we will start generating these thumpers. So that's going to be awesome. We also detected the new siege, and well, we're trying to ally with them as well. They don't give us a particularly interesting bonus, but making sure we get all that spice going for a little bit of water is definitely worth it one way or another. We just investigated this, so that gives us a nice little boost again. And yeah, all in all, a lot of stuff happening. Now, we also get these quests that if we don't take action, we will actually have people rebel against us. And if we complete these quests, we don't actually get anything in turn for that. But yeah, we don't want our bases rebelling against us. Really, guys, this is getting so annoying. I think I'll just have to lose this village here for a moment while we take control of this spice field, because really, this is definitely going to be worth it. And yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate that we don't have the thumper ready yet, but we'll just have to deal with it. Having this spice field will definitely be worth the effort before anyone else grabs it. But to be honest, these Harkonnens are on our hit list. Now, hopefully, these villagers will be able to defend at least a little bit. They will definitely not be able to win, but they won't go down without a fight, and it will buy us some time to get the base back in a little bit. So we have now control over this village. So first thing we're going to do here, obviously, is building a spice collector, and we also want to make sure we put in some more militia. Now we can actually build 4 militia now, and we're going to need to use every single one of them. And we're also going to make sure our army is going to move towards taking this back, and then we're just going to go counter-attack, I think, on the Harkonnen, because this is really getting out of hand. Now, it will take me a moment to actually organize all of that, because my army is spread out all across the map, but it should be really fun once we get to that point. Now, there is a debuff on a village just after it has been attacked, so we'll need to wait a moment before we can actually do anything with it. But we also now have enough materials to build something interesting in our main base. And right now I'm looking to build a barracks, which will buff the health of all our military units, help them regenerate, and actually help them get experience as well. So that will be interesting. Now, the additional bonus from building this over here is that we'll unlock this, and that will actually allow us to resource military developments a little faster. So all in all, really nice, interesting stuff. We also have a siege over here that we are currently trying to make a friend with. That I think I just mentioned before as well, so apologies about that. We have another vote coming up. Right now we have a debuff on our military units, so that will be really helpful if this is going to go away. Nothing really in particular that we care about, but we can vote House Atreides to get a debuff. That's fine. How's the debuff going over here? That's over here, actually. Yep, we can attack now, and we're definitely going to do that. And then we'll kind of have to rebuild this, and after that, let's take the fight to the Harkonnen. Okay, so check, double check. We have a military base over here that's going to give us 20% more power. We are about to complete the barracks, which will give us 30% more health. We have all our units over here in this corner. We apparently completed this as well, so this will give us a buff to research. Now we just completed the call to arms, which means if we lose any units, we're going to replace them with the Vatican unit, which is really good. And I think all in all, this puts us in a pretty good position to start thinking about attacking the Harkonnen. So let's see where that gets us. Now, a thing worth pointing out that if you see Harkonnen units with this red glow, that's a moment you want to retreat, because you can't actually kill them in that state. It's a special buff they can get. And I just debuffed this entire area with the supply debuff, so they can't actually regenerate. They're currently being attacked from different sides as well, so that's good. But we definitely want to make sure we don't start fighting them when we can't actually kill them. So we're just going to retreat for a moment, heal back up for a little bit, and then just relaunch the offensive once again. Now you can see the buff has actually dropped, so we don't have to wait too long, but considering we're here anyway, we might as well heal up. And there we go again. I reapplied all the debuffs, as well as the buff to give myself a little bit more of recovery. Now this unit is an infiltrator, which is quite a weak unit. Let's make sure we take out all these low units. There we go. We shouldn't have too much issue mopping this up right now. Now the real question is whether we're going to be able to defend. Because as you can see, we actually have a missile battery from the other side of them firing at us as well. I think once we take out this unit and we kind of move into the back over here. As you can see, we just had units popping up. That's because we weren't actually attacking the villages yet. We were just attacking the military units around it. Now there's an up and down side of doing that, because you actually need to take out the military units in the city to actually be able to try and conquer it. I think we are going to be just fine. Apparently they decide just to move past us rather than attack us, so that's interesting. Let's make sure we take control, because once again, this is one of the cities with a spice field. They're trying to attack us with some drones now. That shouldn't be too much of a problem taking those out. You can pop those up everywhere. Like I said, pretty easy to take out, so that's exactly what we're going to do. We do need to make sure we don't move too far out. Now they're contesting us for this city at the moment, so that's the reason that we're not making any progress. You need to make sure we don't move out and lose our progress. We're taking down all of these units pretty easily so far. So all good so far, and I think we should be able to win this battle. So we're about to take this village, and it took a huge amount of micromanaging the units. As you can see, we do definitely need to make sure that these guys don't die from missiles being fired from their main base. But as you can see, it paid off. We actually captured the base, including everything that comes along with it. So we now have our own missile battery and our military base, which is convenient considering if we ever want to decide this main decide to attack our main base. Language is a hard thing apparently. Then we also get the buff in this area as well. So that's a really cool thing. Now the first thing we're going to do is put heavy militia over here. These are relatively expensive units. We're actually going to cancel one and make one demolition militia, and that will help us defend the space quite a lot better than we are otherwise able to do. We are also going to make sure we set up a spice silo over here so we can make use of this spice facility. And I think actually we now just took the only spice production zone they have. And initially I thought it wasn't the one next to their main base, but apparently it is, because it's right over here. So now we kind of crippled the Harkonnen, and we're definitely nowhere near winning the game so far just yet. But this will be a huge step towards making sure that at least the Harkonnen are not going to win. Now we also have the main base for the Atreides over here, and the main base for the smugglers over here. So we're actually in a good position to start attacking all the major factions, but yeah, one thing at a time. Right now we took out this one, and we are still under attack here. Jeebus. We lost a unit along the way there, and actually, to be honest, that's not a huge problem, because now we are just simply going to replace it with a Fedaykin, and those are really strong units, so the Harkonnen really want this back, but right now, because we already took this facility, that's never going to happen unless they somehow manage to catch us off guard without our army here, because right now we have those militia coming in as well, and that will make sure that we're actually able to keep this. Now, I have a little bonus as well if I kill any enemy units on my own territory, and yeah, right now this is my territory. We actually lost a unit there, but once again, let's just replace that. Actually get some Solari. Not that we need any, but it's a nice little buff. Okay, so we dealt a huge blow to the Harkonnen, and I think that's a good place to stop this episode. Thank you for watching. If you're still here and you made it to the end, you are awesome. If you want to be truly legendary, make sure you like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.